Okay. Well, I don't know, because like it might be like, well, I don't know if like, because we might be the same volume, is what I mean.
Okay,
Or
we're live.
yeah,
So, the debate is the existence of God. Femboy is that, or is Femboy how I say
Femios,
your name? Say it again.
Femios,
Femios is an atheist or an agnostic.
agnostic atheist.
Okay.
Generally, my position is just, um, I don't like, I'm not like, I don't definitively take the position of, there. I know that there isn't a God or anything like that. It's just, there's not sufficient evidence for me to take the affirmative position on that. So I'm hoping that Toxic Crusader over here can help guide me to the truth of Christianity, you know?
Yeah, maybe save your soul. So his link, the link to his channel is in the description. He had a run-in with Darth Dawkins. That's on his channel. And then Toxic Crusader, the link to his channel is in the description. He's a Calvinist and I think a precept. So, and then Cutie Pie is my femboy friend from Clubhouse. He's going to be the moderator. Okay, who wants to go first for the we're gonna do 5-minute opening discussions, or I mean a 5-minute opening statements and then open discussion. So who wants to go first?
I don't really know what to say for my 5-minute opening statement. I do have a few questions that I want to ask, if that's okay, just so I know what position I'm arguing against.
Okay.
Um, hold on. Ah, no, shut up, McAfee. Jesus Christ. Um, okay, so first question. Um, are are you a presuppositionalist? And if so, do you presuppose Christianity in a moral sense, a literal sense, or both?
I am a priest.
Hello?
You muted yourself, Toxic, by accident.
I am a precept, and I believe in both.
All right, both. All right. And do you believe that atheists go to hell?
That's nuanced, but yeah, yes. And but I don't know who are elect, so there could be atheists that aren't really atheists, just like there could be Christians that aren't really Christian.
But there could be like, and I'm not trying to like get you in like a gotcha or anything, but like, what do you mean when you say atheists who aren't really atheists?
Yeah, I believe in predestination, so I believe there are atheists out here that are professing all kinds of atheism that will come to God and they will be forgiven and they will go to heaven. And also, there are people professing Christ, 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 Lord, Lord, but they do not know Him and they were workers of iniquity. They will go to hell.
Okay, so you
People
believe
just
in
claiming.
predestination. Okay. So predestination. All right, let me write that down. Notes this time. Destination. And what does so when you talk about predestination, actually, you know what? We'll talk about that later, actually. I'll just ask the questions I already have written down. Do practitioners of other religions, for instance, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, etc., go to hell?
Yeah, but it's in the same. It's the same
And
case. It's
it's the
nuanced.
same answer. Okay, I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure. Okay. Do you believe in moral axioms? If so, are there any moral axioms that you believe are relevant to the discussion?
Moral axioms? No, I'm a predeterminist.
Okay. No moral axioms. Okay. And are you a part of any denomination in particular? If so, what denomination of Christianity are you a part of, and what distinguishes it from Christianity in general?
Well, I'm a Reformed Baptist, and that's technically non-denominational.
Okay, so non-denominational. Okay. And last but not least, do you believe in purgatory?
No.
No. Okay. All right, that's all the questions I wanted to ask. Okay, thank you. Is there anything you want to ask me?
You're an agnostic atheist, meaning that you are not you take a position that there's no God based on lack of evidence for God.
You're almost correct. My position is that I have no reason to believe that there definitively is a God, because there is not sufficient evidence for me to come to that conclusion.
So at this moment, there's no God.
I'm not saying that there is or isn't a God. I am saying that my worldview, let's just say, is incomplete. And what I mean by that is I do not know if there is or isn't a God.
So you don't know whether God exists or not. We'll
No.
just leave it there because they want me to do my opening statement. So you want me to
Yeah.
start?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, whenever Cutie's ready.
All right. I'll try and take notes my best.
All right, tell me when to go.
Go for it, dude.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank GG and Femi Oz and Cutie Pie for getting all dolled up for this debate.
Yeah.
My position is I presuppose that God exists based on the lack of the contrary, meaning that nobody's explained to me how God couldn't exist or a world that we could live in without some sort of God. Right? I believe that everything that began to exist as a cause, and I presuppose that the world did begin to exist because there is a lack of proof that an actual infinity exists outside of the human concept. All right. Therefore, we have a human concept of actual infinity, but we don't find anything in the world that never moved or never stopped. It never occurs in nature, but we do have this concept. So I'm led to believe that something does that. It's just not here with us, and that something is God. And I'll get into this. All right. My argument, premise one: every fact has an explanation. All right. And there is a fact that includes every other contingent fact, meaning that this beer is contingent upon the brewer, right? Which is contingent upon the materials, which is contingent. But there is a fact to why all this happened, all right? That fact is what is known as a necessary being, right? An infinite amount of effects is not possible because we just discussed how an actual infinite could not exist outside of our mind. We don't see it in nature. We haven't found something that never moved or that never stopped. So it doesn't exist anywhere else but here in our abstract concept of it. Now, that explanation involves not only a necessary being, but my necessary being, the God of the Bible. And why does it include that? Because the God of the Bible states clearly in his book, right? Acts chapter 17, verse 28. In him we live, we move, and we have our being. He's not only necessary, he's necessary to every breath I take, every sip of beer I have, every vape I hit, every thought, every belief. The fact that I am a believer in this God is necessitated on him, not just existing, but him putting the thoughts in my head. He is not only a prime mover, he is the actual mover. He is always moving. Right? He is an actual infinite. We have the concept. We have him in our head. Right? But we cannot prove an actual infinity in nature. Now, the contrary to my presupposition that the world or the universe began at any stage of the matter is that the universe always was. And there is an actual infinite in nature. And I've yet to see any kind of atheist bring out how this actual infinite could exist and how everything could regress. There is no cause, it's only effects. So I say again, the necessary being is the cause of everything, right? The cause, not an unlimited group of effects. And I presuppose God's exist. Not only that, the God of the Bible, the necessary causer of everything, right? As the Bible clearly states, to be true. And I yield the rest of my time.
Okay, let me just finish writing stuff down. The necessary. Okay. All right. I don't really have much to say for like an opening statement. I mean, I've already kind of established my position, but it sounds less like you're for the most like it seems more like you're defending deism rather than Christianity specifically. So, for the sake of argument, I believe in the flying spaghetti monster now. It is now your job to explain to me, with arguments that don't also apply to the flying spaghetti monster, why the Christian God is the correct one. So that's all. Can you do that? Or
That's your opening statement?
Yeah. Yep, that's my opening statement. I just want to get
I
started.
didn't even finish writing that.
That's okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. For the sake of argument, I believe in the flying spaghetti monster, and you have to explain to me with logic that can't be applied to the justify the flying spaghetti monster why the Christian God is the correct one.
Is the flying spaghetti monster an actual infinite?
Yeah. The flying spaghetti monster always has been and always will be. It's every fact has an explanation and is contingent upon other facts, and the necessary being in my worldview is the flying spaghetti monster. So why is your worldview of it being the Christian God any more valid than my worldview of it being the flying spaghetti monster?
How did the spaghetti get made by the spaghetti monster?
No, it didn't get made. It always has been and it always will be. It is omnipresent. It is eternal.
But we can see spaghetti occurring in nature.
No, we're not talking
being
about
made
physical
by
spaghetti. We are
pasta
talking
man.
about metaphysical spaghetti. The same way that you know how when you go to church and you have communion and like the bread is like the flesh, the body or flesh of Christ or whatever. It's sort of like the same shit, but like that's what. But when you eat spaghetti, right? But you know, so it's like there's a physical version, and then there's the metaphysical version, right?
But now you're just shitting out claims everywhere. I asked you one question about your spaghetti monster.
Well, hold
You
on.
didn't have an answer.
I'm just shitting out claims?
Yes.
How interesting.
I asked you about you have this concept that he's a flying spaghetti monster, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so how did the spaghetti get made? You already have a concept of what spaghetti is.
Well, no, it always has been. It is the ultimate fact.
I know that you state that this is the clam,
it
but
wasn't made. It just is.
No, I know you stated that it's an actual infinite. That part was understood. The part that was not addressed is how you have the concept of his spaghetti-ness.
Oh, that like okay. Well, I actually had a revelation. You see, a revelation. It was in a dream, and in that dream, I saw him, the flying spaghetti monster himself, and he said to me, "I am real. It is I, the flying spaghetti monster, the arbiter of all truth. It is now your job as my disciple to spread the word of Pastafarianism."
So you had a dream about the spaghetti flying around in the beginning of time and creating everything.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, I have ADHD. I was spacing out. Could you repeat that?
You had a dream that spaghetti is the origin of the universe. And
well, not just spaghetti. We are talking about the flying spaghetti monster. There's a distinction there.
I acknowledge that. I've heard you say that like 4 times. But you had a dream that the flying spaghetti monster, right? It's flying spaghetti.
Yeah.
Right? That created the universe pre-time, right? Started everything.
Yeah.
Like I explained in my opening statement. It started. It's the necessary cause of everything.
Yes, it is the necessary cause of everything.
All right. And so when the first guy in Italy started making spaghetti, is he like the prophet?
Yeah, he is a prophet, yeah. He's sort of like the Pastafarianist equivalent of Moses.
Was it revealed to him that spaghetti is the origin of the universe?
Arbiter of all truth, yeah. He also had a dream about the flying spaghetti monster.
Okay. So that's what so in Italy around whenever, like in the Renaissance when spaghetti came out, so that dude like brought us.
Yep. Yeah, he brought us the truth. The same way that like Moses did cool stuff and Jesus did cool stuff. Well, you see, the Pastafarian equivalent is you know, in Italy when they invented spaghetti, you know.
Now that
it's sort of like a similar thing, you know.
Now that we've entertained that humongous dose of stupidity, how can we
What do you mean? It's my religion.
How can we how can you reconcile that spaghetti is what I live, my being, and all my movements is caused by spaghetti?
Because the flying spaghetti monster is the ultimate authority who dictates everything.
Like
I could ask you the same. Why don't you ask the same question about the Christian God?
In kinetic energy, and qualia, right? Like something like that, consciousness. Where do we find traces of spaghetti?
Wait, what? We're talking about metaphysical spaghetti here.
So it's not real spaghetti.
Well, the flying spaghetti monster goes beyond the realm of physical existence, because the flying spaghetti monster is a metaphysical being, a metaphysical presence that is the creator of everything and the arbiter of all truth.
Right,
so
back to
can you
one.
explain to
how do
me
you have
why
this
the fly?
concept of
Can you explain to me? Stop. Can you explain to me why the flying spaghetti monster isn't real?
Because you're
But
making
why,
it up.
while
You can't
explaining
explain it
why
to
the
save your
Christian
life.
God is?
Because the Christian God does say that, like, there is a revelation from the Christian God.
Wait,
and
but there's
in
also a
him.
revelation from the flying spaghetti monster.
No, there's not.
The flying spaghetti monster also says these things.
There's no revelation. You're making this shit up. That's why you're having a hard time figuring it out.
Well, you're accusing me of making this shit up?
I know you're making this shit up.
No, how do you know? Can you
Because
prove it?
if you're a prophet of the spaghetti monster, you'd be able to tell me where in my consciousness I find traces of spaghetti.
But you are asking for a physical location, when
If I
in
put
reality,
Parmesan cheese
it is
on my head,
something
do I get smarter?
metaphysical that is beyond your comprehension. It's the same reason that you can't, it's the same reason you can't just, I mean, you could ask the same thing, when it comes to Christianity. Could you not?
So you just made up your own religion.
Well, no, I didn't make it up. Pastafarianism has been around for a while.
So this actually happened. You actually had the dream about spaghetti creating the universe.
Mm-hmm.
That actually happened. You're not just lying for the sake of making an argument.
That is what happened.
So you're a Pastafarian.
Yeah, I had that revelation. You know, I used to be an atheist.
If I put Parmesan cheese on my head, will I be anointed in your spaghetti monster's holy grace?
Well, no. Normally, you put colanders on your head.
So colanders, and you didn't just make that up. This actually came to you in a fucking dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why? Give me an example of how God doesn't exist and how that could work.
Well, a God does exist. He's named the flying spaghetti monster.
Yeah, you're not making this shit up. You believe there's a flying spaghetti monster that
I would never make anything up.
You believe the Guido that invented spaghetti is a prophet of this monster.
Yeah. That is my religion. Yep.
That's how you deal with the contingency argument, is just presupposing that spaghetti exists.
Yeah. I presuppose that the flying spaghetti monster is the arbiter of all truth and the creator of our very being.
And
why is that any different from you? Wait, I need to ask you a question.
All right, ask me.
Why is that any different from you presupposing Christianity?
Because I gave you an actual argument. I didn't just shove this fucking religion up your throat.
Wait, hold on.
I gave you three
premises. What is an argument that you can give me that is specific to Christianity that can't be applied to Pastafarianism? What?
I mentioned that in my opening statement that you weren't paying attention to. And
in the opening statement, you said wait, hold on. You presuppose that God exists because of the lack of a contrary. Well, I am presupposing that my God, the flying spaghetti monster, exists. No one explains how the world exists without God. Well, I'm explaining how there is a God named the flying spaghetti monster who makes the world exist. Everything has a cause and there's no proof infinity exists. Well, I'm agreeing with that because I'm saying that everything is caused by the flying spaghetti monster. Now let's go to premise 1. Every fact has an explanation, and every fact is contingent upon other facts, and the necessary being is God. I agree with that. The necessary being is the flying spaghetti monster. The God of the Bible, because we live... sorry, must have been a typo.
You're giving...
You said that the God of
this is written? You wrote it down?
I have a question for Femyaz. What are the properties that distinguish your spaghetti monster from the Christian God?
It's spaghetti.
Well, you see, it's like Christianity, but objectively better. For example, we don't use fear-mongering tactics and threaten people by saying they're going to go to hell if they don't subscribe to our religion. You know? We
that's the religion.
That
what about the entity itself is different from the Christian? The entity
itself is very mysterious, and it is a flying spaghetti monster with its tentacle. So, and it's also compatible with science, unlike Christianity. For instance, Christianity doesn't explain how the world was made whatever 5,000 years ago, right? It's just like, oh, science is fake, lol. Whereas Pastafarianism actually accounts for this, because the flying spaghetti monster actually tampers with the evidence that scientists collect to make the world look older than it actually is.
But Femboy, you understand that you came into this debate saying that you didn't believe evidence for God exists, and then that
Well, you
deliberate
see,
lie.
I'm talking about your traditional Christian God.
No, but
We don't have
you
evidence
didn't
for
say
the
that
Christian
though.
God.
You
We
didn't
do
say
have
that.
evidence for the flying spaghetti monster, though.
Yeah, but you didn't say that in like when we agreed to the debate. You said that you don't believe in a God because you lack evidence.
See, but look,
it's a lack of evidence. Now
the
you
point
believe in a
I'm
God,
making-
and he's fucking flying
the
spaghetti.
point I'm making,
You're not making a
and
point.
I don't know
You're
how
fucking
you.
dishonest.
I don't know how you
fucking
don't
came in
see
with a
this.
spaghetti God.
I
You
don't
have to
know how
change
you
the
don't
debate.
stop.
Do I get a new opening?
I don't know
statement?
how you don't see that any counter argument you make against the flying spaghetti monster can be applied to Christianity, and vice versa. Any argument you make in favor of Christianity can be applied to the flying spaghetti monster.
No, but like,
that is the point I'm making. You don't have
that.
a way to justify.
I get it. You
the
don't
fact
actually believe this flying spaghetti, but you got to be more honest.
No,
you got to be
really?
more sincere.
I don't believe the flying spaghetti monster.
You don't.
No way. What gives you that impression? It's almost as if I'm using it as some sort of comparison to make the statement that, oh, every justification you use for Christianity can just as easily be applied to the flying spaghetti monster. Why? Because it's all circular logic. None of it means anything. It's all meaningless.
All right,
that's the point I'm making.
I know you're making a point, but you got to be more sincere, because you said that it didn't sound like the deist God because you ignored what I said about why it's not the deist God. But you said you didn't believe in God. Now you believe in a flying spaghetti monster, so we have to start over and I have to make a new opening statement.
I even said, no, because I said for the sake of argument, I believe in the flying spaghetti monster now.
Wait, did I ask you
literally
point blank?
said for the sake of argument.
I asked you point blank if this was like a mock, or you actually believe it. You said yes. You got to slow down. All right, we can start over.
Yeah, because when I get into the argument, when I get into hold on, when I get into the argument, because the fact of the matter is, if you can't justify your God with logic that can't also be applied to the flying spaghetti monster, then you have no justification for your circular logic.
All right, you can call it whatever you want, but we have to start the debate over now.
Well, I'm calling it what it is. No, we don't have to start the debate over.
Yes, we do. You were
no.
dishonest. You weren't forthcoming.
It's not dishonest. It's an analogy.
The debate title was the existence of God, and you're talking about you believe in a flying spaghetti monster.
You clearly...
You're saying that's God.
I'm saying that
we gotta.
The point I'm trying to make is even if we presuppose that there's some sort of God, there's no logical, like, even if we take a deist approach, there is no logical reason for Christianity to be correct. I am arguing against Christianity.
Wait, is there a contradiction?
I can argue against deism in a minute. But
is there a contradiction in Christianity, Femboy? Maybe we can try and pivot to that.
All right, yeah. Let's do that.
Sure. I think I already made my point. He's just not understanding it.
Yeah, I understand.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
His
lied.
Windows XP brain will pick up on it eventually.
He said he didn't believe in a God. Now he believes in a fucking spaghetti monster. Now
I understand the thought experiment. I just don't want it to get like boring.
No, I get that. I get that.
Why do you have to lie about the God you believe?
It's not a lie. What are you talking about? Okay.
You said you didn't believe in a God. Now you're talking about a fucking God.
Oh my God. Yeah,
just
because you don't understand the analogy doesn't mean it's dishonest.
You lied to me when I asked you
whether you believe that or not. I said beforehand that for the sake of argument, I believe in the flying spaghetti monster now.
You're done, man. You lied about what you told me point blank. You believed this shit.
I was in character. I made that very clear.
No, you
I
didn't.
don't know
I
how
asked
you
you.
aren't capable
I
of
asked you if you
understanding
believed it,
that.
and it's not
It's
bullshit. You
very
said yes, and you
basic.
believe it.
It's a very obvious
It's on your
analogy.
channel, bro. You lied to me. You said you didn't believe in a God. Now
It's
you
not a
understand
lie.
it.
It's an analogy.
You believe in a spaghetti monster God, and I like we can debate your spaghetti monster God's existence if you want.
My
But
point.
other than that, like
the
when I
point
get
I
to your
was
spaghetti God,
making-
you better not flip back to
Stop.
being a fucking
The
atheist
point
again.
I was making is you don't have a justification for your God that can't be used to justify the flying spaghetti monster. It is all made up nonsense. That's what it is.
All right, so now you're claiming that you don't. It's made up. So now we can
No
debate. You
fucking
don't believe God
shit.
exists. Now we can debate that, what you were dishonest about in the beginning, that you don't have
It's
evidence
not
or whatever.
dishonest
You're
to
not
make
sure.
an analogy.
So you're gonna be dishonest
Just
this whole
because
time.
you don't understand the analogy doesn't mean it's dishonest.
It's
It's
in
not
your
my
opening
fault that
statement,
you
all
don't
right,
understand the analogy.
I want you to remind me what your opening statement, your position in your opening statement was.
My position is there is not sufficient evidence for me to take the affirmative position that there is, in fact, a God.
Then why is the spaghetti
Nothing has
monster
convinced
involved?
me.
What
What?
was all this nonsense about the spaghetti monster you believe in?
I already explained it 50 times to you. It
No,
is
you didn't. You
the
haven't
point
explained a
I was
goddamn thing this whole
making
night.
is you don't have any arguments for Christianity specifically
I made
that
one in
can
my
be
opening
that
statement.
can't be applied to the flying spaghetti monster.
All right, go
I
ahead
think
and
that
apply
is
my argument.
fairly that is fairly obvious. That is very
I'm gonna
that is
mute my
very
mic.
clear.
I'm gonna drink my beer and I'm gonna listen to you debunk my argument, which is written right here on my daughter's little sticker book.
Well, you do
right?
realize that that
You're gonna read
it is
this to
not
us
my.
because
I am not
you definitely
obligated.
heard it.
Hold
You're
on.
definitely
I am
paying
not
attention.
obligated. I am not obligated to falsify your religion.
You're not gonna debate my argument that I gave in my opening statement.
I'll
here?
debate your argument, but what do
It's
you want to
It's
start
written
with?
down too. We can.
Okay,
we can
what do
see
you
if
want to start
actually
with?
know
What do
it
you
is.
want to start with? What do you want to start with?
You heard it in my opening statement. You're debating
What
it right
do
now.
you
So
want to
here's the
start with?
opportunity.
What would you like to start with?
I want you to take down my argument that you definitely heard because you're definitely paying attention.
Wait, well, hold on. Are you saying that I need to falsify your God? Is that what you're saying, or what? Because the whole point, the whole concept of religion is an unfalsifiable statement.
You need to participate in this debate at the very least. I want you to
no,
knock
I
down
am,
this
though.
argument
Like,
that I
what are you
gave you in
talking
my
about?
opening statement. It's
What?
written right here on my daughter's little colors. This is my daughter's LOL book that I wrote my
Okay,
argument
but
down.
what? Okay, but what point do you want to
have it
start with?
written down.
I'm literally just asking you what point you want to start with.
You know, because you heard my opening statement, didn't you?
I know, but I just want to know. Oh my god, I
Okay,
want to know what
we're getting a little spicy here. Toxic. It sounds like you think that your argument is sufficient evidence for God. Why don't you just present it to him again?
I actually have an argument.
Okay, all right. Let
That's the
me
difference
ask you
between me
some
and him.
questions. All right, let me ask you.
In case he forgot.
I asked it. I'm going to ask this question in 50 different ways until you understand what the actual question is.
For taking this shit
How do
seriously.
you know that it is the God of the Bible specifically that is the necessary being?
I told you that already.
No, you didn't. You haven't given me a sufficient fucking
It's
answer.
here. Why did I say it's my necessary
Why is it
being?
not Allah? Why isn't it the flying spaghetti monster?
Because Allah puts us on the planet. All right, listen carefully. Allah puts us on the planet and wants us. He says you could be good Muslims, and if we don't do that, he gets mad. Okay, that's not a necessary being. That's a guy that just threw us here, just like the deist God. The deist God started everything and ran away. He's nowhere to be found. What was the Bible verse I quoted to you?
I don't remember. Could you?
All right, Acts 17. Acts chapter 17, verse 28.
Acts
in him,
17, 28.
In him, we live, we move, we have our being. Everything is necessary upon him. Allah doesn't have that. Ra doesn't have that. Zeus doesn't have that. Nobody has a savior God.
Wait, what about the flying spaghetti monster?
Sir, nobody has a
monster
savior God except for me.
Wait, why does it have to be a savior God?
Nobody has a necessary God but us.
Wait, how do you know
written right there in one sentence?
So wait, hold on. It's necessary because the Bible is correct because the Bible called itself correct, is what you're saying.
No, the Bible gives our God he's necessary.
How do
He
you know
saves
that?
us.
But you don't. You're
He's
just
the one that
assuming.
saves
You're
us.
just making an assumption. How do you know?
That would be necessary, wouldn't it?
What would be necessary exactly? What are you saying is necessary?
It's necessary.
To what?
He's necessary for me to live, to move, and to be.
How do you know that? You have not justified that claim.
That's the God of the Bible. That was the answer to your question. How is it not
So,
Allah?
okay,
Allah
but
is not necessary.
Well, hold on. But how? Okay, first of all, how would you know that? Secondly, how do you know that the God of the Bible is necessary?
How do you know? What's your fucking position? Stop asking me questions.
My position is that there's not sufficient evidence to come to such a conclusion.
So no more spaghetti monster. No more.
No more spaghetti monster. I think
No
I
more
made my
spaghetti
point very
monster. We're
clear,
done
even
with
though you didn't understand it.
You talked about a spaghetti monster. You couldn't answer for the fucking life of you how spaghetti has to do with my consciousness. So no more
Because
spaghetti
the flying
monster.
spaghetti monster made your consciousness. I already explained it. It's the same fucking shit that's in the Bible. Literally,
right, how do I know
same
what an
fucking shit.
infinity is? How do I know what an infinity is?
What?
How do I know what an infinity is?
What are you talking about?
How do you know what an infinity is?
What? I don't. What are you trying to ask? I'm
How
confused.
do you know what actual infinity is?
Are you talking about like as like a concept, or like are we making a linguistic
Yeah,
claim
you have
here?
that.
Like,
That would be a concept, wouldn't it? You know what it is.
sure, yeah.
Right,
I vaguely, yeah, I get the concept that yes, it means
it's
endless,
an abstract,
limitless.
Now,
Sure,
where did
yeah.
you see evidence that actual infinity exists?
Wait, what?
Where did you see an actual
I don't
infinity?
have to. I don't have to see physical evidence of it existing to understand it as an abstract concept.
I'm speechless.
Because you're acting as if my claim is that everything is, or that the something is infinite. I wasn't talking about anything being infinite.
So you don't need evidence of an actual infinity.
I'm not saying that there is or is not an actual infinity. I'm saying I understand infinity as an abstract concept. There is an obvious distinction.
How do you have that abstract concept?
Because it's used in things like math and fucking basic calculus and shit. But
So
that doesn't.
You've seen somebody calculate an infinite?
Wait, hold on. No, it's an abstract concept. Just because there is an abstract concept does not automatically mean that it physically exists in the real world. The same way that I don't know, imaginary numbers don't exist in the real world. The square root of -1 is an abstract concept.
Give me an example.
What?
Give me an example
of what?
Two things that don't actually exist in the real world that you can put together.
The square root of -1 and the square root of -2. There's your two examples.
So abstract concept or nonsense?
Those are abstract concepts.
All right, tell me, explain to me what the square root of -1 is.
An imaginary number.
So it's not an abstract concept. It's just words. And infinite is, I could tell you.
Wait, hold on. No. It is an abstract concept in that we are talking about imaginary numbers that are purely abstract. They are only used in an abstract sense because obviously the square root of -1 doesn't actually exist in the real world, but it exists in the math world.
Explain to me.
I'm not a fucking math genius, okay? I'm not a mathematician. Wait, hold on. What do you want? What do you need me to explain to you? Because I'm not trying to make this argument about math. I'm just giving you an example of an abstract concept that doesn't necessarily exist in the real world.
Toxic, what was your point when you asked him to conceptualize infinity or whatever?
Because we know what an infinity is, and he knows what an infinity is. That's why he brought up some nonsense. Like I say, like a square, or circle, or something. It's some nonsense.
Okay, but
he couldn't do it.
So what does this have to do with God?
Yeah. First of all, how is it relevant? And secondly, the fact of the matter is, we can understand things in an abstract sense. Now, I'm not good at math, so I don't understand everything in math very well. But I was giving an example
Well, that's
of
fine. You
something
don't
that
have to understand
exists
that.
in an abstract context, but
that's not
isn't
what an abstract is.
actually what?
If I tell you to imagine, like, can you tell me what a square circle is?
Well, yeah, no shit.
That doesn't exist. It's like the square root of -1. But an infinity, actual infinity does exist, because I can tell you that's me playing Street Fighter with infinite lives, right? And I don't die, and it doesn't stop, right? I can play till the cows come home. We understand infinity.
Okay,
now, where
but
do we get that understanding?
sure, but in infinity, in a literal sense, we don't even know that infinity in a how would you prove that infinity exists in a literal sense, in that there is in fact infinity? How do you know there's not a start and an end to the universe?
We understand infinity.
Well, yeah, obviously we understand it as a concept.
That would be an abstract.
But that doesn't mean,
not
because
nonsense.
just because you understand something as a concept does not necessarily mean that that concept dictates how the universe operates. Okay, I can understand the concept of the flying spaghetti monster. Sorry to go back to that, but that does not necessarily mean that that concept. The point is, it doesn't mean that that concept dictates how the universe operates.
All right, so we can go back to your spaghetti monster. How did your concept of the spying spaghetti monster like initiate my qualia?
Initiate what? I'm sorry.
My qualia, my consciousness. Is there Parmesan cheese flowing through my brain?
Yeah, there is metaphoric and metaphysical Parmesan cheese. That is your soul. Yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
So that's your answer to all these questions is just a word salad to explain nothing. Where I gave you an argument
that's the point
that
I'm
hasn't been
making.
refuted, and that's what I'm.
But you haven't refuted the flying spaghetti monster either. How have you refuted the flying spaghetti monster?
Because there's a guy that invented spaghetti, and you're saying he's like a prophet,
because there's a guy that invented spaghetti, there can't be a metaphysical version of spaghetti?
No.
You realize that the flying spaghetti monster would be
those are two
would
words.
Be timeless, right?
Those are literally two words you just put together that don't mean
I didn't
anything.
put them together. Somebody else did.
Metaphysical spaghetti. What? All right. Then we'll give you the opportunity to tell us what metaphysical spaghetti is. Just those two words.
Well,
that you use.
it is. So metaphysical spaghetti. It's like real spaghetti, but like different in that it is not. It is not in the physical version of reality. It is in the metaphysical version of reality, and what that means is that it is everywhere, at every single point in time. Oh wow!
I'm just laughing at the chat. So it's spaghetti that's everywhere and nowhere at the same time, and yet we still have the concept of spaghetti.
It's just like the
Christian
God.
It's a fucking spaghetti noodle that's everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Yeah, it's just like the Christian God, except it's made out of spaghetti, metaphysical spaghetti.
All right.
Yeah.
Now I want you to start over and give an opening statement for why there's spaghetti
everywhere
and nowhere at the same time.
I don't need to.
Christian God.
I don't need to.
I know that because you're not participating in this debate.
I am participating in the discussion.
Your opening
You're just not understanding my
question.
Points. You just don't understand. Just because you don't understand the points I'm making does not mean I am not participating.
No, I understand your point. You think that the Christian God is satirical, like spaghetti. That was not hard.
I didn't say that the Christian God was satirical. I am using the
spaghetti
monster as an example. That makes it.
Yes, you're satiring the
spaghetti is immaterial, not metaphysical. Sorry, yeah. I meant immaterial, not metaphysical. Sorry.
And metaphysical spaghetti is spaghetti that's everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Also immaterial. Also immaterial.
We know the word spaghetti. We're thinking about spaghetti, and we're thinking about it everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Translated into a material, if it were to be translated into something material in the material world, then it would look exactly like spaghetti and meatballs. But again, we are talking about something that is not in the realm of material existence, okay?
So it's not real spaghetti.
Wait.
What?
According, how do you know it's not real? Well, what do you mean by real spaghetti? Are we talking about spaghetti as a material substance? In that case, no, it isn't. We're not talking about spaghetti that is of a material substance. If we are talking about real spaghetti, in that
PewDiePie,
I will eat your God based. Sorry, I was reading
chat. Let's take turns asking
Never
questions.
read chat during debate. My bad.
So we don't.
Wait, hold on. What are you saying?
Let's each take turns. You can go first. Ask me a
Okay.
question.
Yeah. I think this is becoming kind of a shit show. I think it's because
Yeah.
I've been streaming for a while, so I'm talking fast and fucking look.
Let's take turn asking.
All
You
right.
ask me a question, I'll ask you a question.
All right. Why do you think it is justified, for the Christian God to send people to eternal suffering?
Because it's his show. He can do whatever he wants with it.
So wait, that's an appeal to authority. So that would be like if I were to argue, and I think this is a good analogy. If, let's say you have an 8-year-old who steals a candy bar, and they live in an authoritarian regime.
God, this is
So,
supposed to be a
and
turn
that
thing.
authoritarian and then the adults decide, we're gonna chop your fingers off, little Jimmy, and you'll never steal a candy bar again. I could make the same argument. Oh, well, you see, they're the ones running the show. It's their country, right? But just because somebody is in a position of power or has authority does not mean that they shouldn't be held under scrutiny. Don't you think?
I already asked you. It's my turn to ask the question. We're taking turns.
No, just stop.
I'm
I'm
not gonna
trying to be better faith here. I'm trying to be better faith.
I gave you a question. I answered it, and then you're asking
Wait,
me another question.
Can you just answer the? No, you have not
I
answered
will.
my question.
I'll answer. No, if you ask that question again,
I
will
answer.
it.
Well, wait, hold on.
You didn't answer any questions.
I made an analogy, and now I'm asking why.
You're asking an additional question. It's my turn to ask a question. You can ask that question.
Okay. Wait,
I think what we ought to do is we should
No, but
finish.
He double questions.
Yeah, we should finish each train of thought rather than just going asking one thing, and then ask an unrelated thing in response. So I would say
I think it was related, but yes.
Toxic. I think it's important for you to address his criticism.
I will. If you can ask that, but after I get to question, all right? It's not atheist question.
Wait, wasn't I responding to your response?
I did no. Yeah, but that's still
okay. Well, then why don't you respond to my response? That's what a fucking debate is.
I didn't get to ask a question.
All right,
I don't care. It's a fucking debate.
What were you going to ask him, Toxic?
I'm not in good faith with this guy anymore. I said let's take turns.
Oh yeah, you were really good faith before.
Yeah, what were you going to ask him?
He lied about the premise of the debate. He lied about.
I didn't lie about anything. I made an analogy.
That wasn't. I asked you point blank, and you said you really believed it. You lied, dude. You're a liar.
I was in character.
You're trolling me.
I said at the very beginning, for the sake of argument, I believe in the flying spaghetti monster now.
This will mimic.
Does that sound like somebody who actually believes in the flying spaghetti monster? Or does that sound like somebody who is doing something for the sake of argument?
Dude, there's no debate about flying spaghetti monster. You brought that up. It's a tangent.
It's an analogy.
Now you just demonstrated that I don't get to question you. You just get to question me and critique my answer.
No, you can question me. I never said you couldn't.
All right, we're gonna okay. Now that you fucking threw up a whole fucking fit and shit, I get to ask you a question. Are you being honest this time?
Well, yeah.
I get to ask you a fucking question this time.
Okay, yeah. Ask me a fucking question.
Like I did with the infinity, you never answered.
No, I answered.
Just go, Toxic.
I get to ask him a fucking question.
Go for it.
All right. What evidence do you have that the universe could stand alone as it is?
Wait, hold on. You are asking me to falsify an unfalsifiable statement.
You're not admitting that's unfalsifiable, are you?
No, I'm saying. Wait, hold on. No.
Is that
any religion?
His answer is
every religion
question.
Makes unfalsifiable statements.
PewDiePie.
I can make the statement that there is a purple elephant in my backyard.
PewDiePie.
There is a purple elephant. There's a purple elephant in my backyard. But only I can see it, and it's only there when I'm there. Can you prove that statement to be false? No, it is an unfalsifiable statement. Just because a statement is unfalsifiable does not mean it is true.
So why is that an unfalsifiable?
I definitely lost the argument because how could I win?
Wait, right? No.
We got spaghetti coming out the fucking nose.
I never said Christianity was specifically falsifiable. I said that there is not enough
It's
evidence for me
unfalsifiable. My
to
question is
agree with it or
unfalsifiable.
believe that it is based in reality. The same way that me claiming that the flying spaghetti monster is real is
There's
also
no
an
answer to my
unfalsifiable
question
statement.
You know what's funny? We've been doing this for 45 minutes, and I don't think the debate has even started yet.
This is really great. Okay, so I gave the contingency argument, and I got an analogy about the spaghetti monster. I asked a question, and the answer is, well, what do you mean?
Well, no.
What do you mean?
You're ignoring what I
It's
was actually
unfalsifiable.
saying.
The universe can't stand alone on its own.
Wait, what? No, I'm saying that
Which God
I
do you
don't
believe
have
in?
to
You believe in spaghetti?
You are asking me to falsify your God when that is not what I have to do. You need to prove why your God does exist. I don't have to falsify
I gave
anything.
you the argument for God's existence.
I don't have to
beginning of the debate.
falsify anything. You need to prove that your God is real.
I gave you an argument at the beginning of the debate. You said that could be
Yeah,
a
well,
flying
it wasn't
spaghetti
a very
monster.
good one. It's only circular logic. You're saying,
No.
oh, well, the universe must be contingent on something, so it must be God. And it's like, okay, well, how do you know that that is the Christian God, first of all? How do you know it even is a God? How do you know it's not some other force that isn't conscious? How do you know any of that?
I told you that.
But you didn't. You're just like,
Yes, I did.
well, it's because it's in the Bible, bruh. That's not an argument.
Where did I say that? Timestamp that.
I don't have the timestamp for it, but you were talking about
Right.
Acts
Show me on this.
17:28.
Show me on my daughter. Like, remember, I showed you.
You
my
were
daughter,
talking about. I don't have to memorize your fucking thing. I do remember though that you were talking about
I have
Acts
it written here. You paying
17:28.
attention to the debate, sir? You know where you've heard my argument. It's still written
Yeah,
down.
well, I already explained why it wasn't a very good one.
I'm sure you did, but I want you to tell me.
But you weren't listening.
When I explained to you, and I told you to pull up a Bible verse. You remember what that was?
Yeah, I literally just said 15 seconds ago, 17:28. That was you arguing that, oh, well, it's the Christian God because the Bible says so, LOL. That is your whole argument.
So it wasn't my argument.
But that's the logical follow-through.
That's the God of the Bible. He says that he is ultimately necessary for everything.
Oh, the Bible says that God is ultimately necessary, so it must be true, LOL.
That lines up with.
Like, do you not realize why that's fucking stupid?
No, but that lines up with the necessary being who is absolutely necessary.
Wait, but so does the flying spaghetti monster.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, it does. The flying spaghetti monster says that the flying spaghetti monster is real in the gospel of the flying spaghetti monster.
Right,
so it must be true, guys.
All right. So now that you're here with you're somebody of the utmost integrity, the next debate we have is going to be about why your flying spaghetti monster exists and why my God does the flying spaghetti monster exist?
Wait, what? No.
So you're
because
not taking that position.
Wait. Hold on. The point I am making is that
the point I'm making is you're dishonest.
No, the point I'm making is your
the point
Christian
I'm making
God,
is you're fucking
shut
dishonest.
the fuck up.
No.
The point I am making is your Christian God is no more grounded in reality than the flying spaghetti monster. Anyone with more than 2 brain cells can identify that.
Good for you and your femboy rage. But in the next debate, if we ever have one, you're going to defend the flying spaghetti monster.
I don't have to. It's an
because
obviously you don't understand the point I was making. You obviously don't understand the point I was making.
You can't debunk the fucking existence.
Just because you don't understand the point I was making,
why doesn't God
doesn't mean that. Wait, what?
The debate is whether God exists or not. Why doesn't God exist?
I don't have to prove that God doesn't exist to take an agnostic position.
So you conceded this debate. In the next debate, we'll talk about your flying.
Wait, hold on. No. I am saying that there is not sufficient evidence for me to take an affirmative stance that there specifically is a God. I don't have to prove. Stop. I don't have to prove that there is no God because I never said that there is specifically no God. I am saying that there is not sufficient evidence for me to specifically believe in the Christian God.
So why doesn't my argument convince you of a God?
Wait, well, first of all, aren't you trying to defend Christianity specifically?
Yeah, but that's out the window now. Why doesn't my
Okay.
argument
Wait, hold on,
convince you
hold
of a
on.
God?
Because that could also justify the flying spaghetti monster. It's
Okay,
meaningless.
so now that's a
All of it
God.
is circular logic. It's
That's a God.
circular logic.
That's a God, sir. Now, why doesn't my argument convince
Wait,
you of a
no,
God?
we don't know if it's a god or not. A god, presupposing that there even is a god.
Dude, you gave it metaphysical spaghetti. It's a fucking God, bro. Stop being dishonest.
Wait,
Get off your
hold on,
fucking
hold on.
Femboy
Wait,
rants
no,
and
no. Stop,
figure out
stop,
what you're
stop, stop.
trying
You're
to
not
fucking
listening.
say.
Stop. No,
I
am
will
saying,
if you actually think about what you're fucking saying.
Stop. I am saying that there isn't. I'm saying
I
that
will
there
stop
isn't.
if you actually
Stop.
think about the
I'm
words that are coming out
saying
of your
there's
mouth.
not any proof of any of it. I am saying that your Christian God is just as out there and ridiculous as the flying spaghetti monster. I don't have to falsify anything. That's the point I'm making. I am making the point that, well, and if you want to get into a deist argument, because I was specifically arguing against Christianity, but if in terms of deism, how do you know that if you're going to make a deist argument outside of Christianity and outside of the Bible, I would love to know, how do you know that the creator of the universe is conscious and deliberately created the universe, and that it's not just some force that just so happened to create the universe that we are unaware of, but that isn't a god?
Because that's a bunch of gibberish.
Wait, what? No, you're not answering the question. Saying it's a bunch of gibberish doesn't.
You didn't answer my question at all, so I give you a straight statement, not a question.
Hold on. Somebody in chat says the flying spaghetti monster isn't mentioned in ancient script. So is the validity of a script based determined by how old it is? I mean, that's what the person in chat is saying. Sorry, I need to not read chat. Sorry.
Yeah, but Femboy, we can debate again. I want to debate this. I'm interested in this flying spaghetti monster. So you need to come to next time with an opening statement about how flying spaghetti works.
But I don't. I'm not arguing. I'm not actually arguing in favor of the flying spaghetti monster. Right. I am arguing against Christianity. You are failing to understand that.
No, I know that you're equating. You're mocking my God for a flying spaghetti monster, and it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I am.
But if you want to do that right, like instead of like dodging questions.
No, I don't need to prove that the flying spaghetti monster is real. I was telling you why.
Can you at least argue for the
all of your
logic,
all of your circular logic applies just as easily to the flying spaghetti monster?
Well, which leads
me to believe that you don't actually have any justification in your belief in the Christian God. That's the point I'm making.
Can next time, can you please actually try to attempt to argue that the flying monster exists? The flying spaghetti monster?
I don't have to.
Please.
I don't have to.
I'm asking nicely.
I don't have to.
I'm asking nicely.
You're misunderstanding my position.
I came here and I'm trying to argue for my God.
My position.
Can you please next time try to
wait, hold on.
God? Please. I'm asking you nicely.
I literally used your own sentence structure and justification for the Christian God to justify the flying spaghetti monster, but you don't think that that is enough evidence of the flying spaghetti monster being real. Why is it sufficient evidence to prove that the Christian God is real, but not sufficient evidence to prove that the flying spaghetti monster is real?
Because we're arguing the existence of God, and you've already failed.
Of the Christian God specifically.
I told you why the Christian God. Because the Christian God claims to be the necessary being. No other God does that.
Oh, right. The Bible says it's true, so it must be true. LOL. The greatest argument of all time.
Yeah, but next time.
Wait.
Next time,
oh my God! I just realized the Gospel of the Flying Spaghetti Monster also says that the Flying Spaghetti Monster is real. So that must also be true. You see, our worldviews are actually complementary because the Flying Spaghetti Monster created Christianity as a fake religion.
All right. So, how did we falsify your position?
That's the point. You can't falsify my position. That's what an unfalsifiable statement is.
I already told you.
You can't prove how you can falsify. You can't prove. Wait, hold on. No, you can't prove that the flying spaghetti monster isn't real. The same way that I can't definitively prove that your God isn't real. There is no such thing as falsifying any God. You have not falsified this flying spaghetti monster. And the point I am making,
I already told you what the
don't have
was. Come on, man, stop.
You do not have a consistent standard of evidence. You don't have a consistent standard of evidence.
This is not a fucking Shakespeare play. This is a fucking. It's a debate on the internet. Calm down. It's
Then
not
why don't you
that
have some
crazy.
consistent standards of evidence,
Calm
perhaps?
down.
That would make it a lot nicer, wouldn't it?
I told you how you
But
can.
oh
you
wait,
can-
that would destroy your entire worldview.
You can falsify my argument by proving that there's an infinite
I don't
regress.
have to. I don't have to falsify your argument.
You don't have
You
to
are
do
making.
anything. You're
You
just
are
here.
taking. Stop. You are taking the
You're the
affirmative
most
position.
entitled
Stop.
interlocutor I've
Stop.
ever had.
You are taking the affirmative position here,
You get to
saying that
talk
the Christian God
and
is
shout
real.
and do all this
I
shit.
don't have to prove because you're saying dumb shit, and I have to correct you.
You don't correct shit, bro. You didn't even have a fucking opening statement.
I don't need to have an opening statement.
You don't even need to have an opening statement in a fucking debate. Come on, man. You're
No,
that
I don't.
entitled.
I've had plenty of good debates without
Opening statements.
Yeah, and this isn't one of them. But I've had way better debates with people that are way more intelligent. Random viewers on my stop. Random viewers on my live streams have provided me with better arguments than you have today. Like, this is actually sad.
Look, I'll give you another chance to repeat my argument. I have it right
I don't
here.
care.
You don't care. You don't have to.
Stop.
You don't do shit.
You are so
That's
bad
not my problem.
faith.
It's not my
Stop.
problem. I don't have to.
Stop.
Don't
Well,
have to do that.
because I
I
already
don't have to have a
addressed your
position.
argument. I already addressed your position
Let me
and
open
showed you why it's equally fucking like I already
bet
showed
you
you
did.
why it
Godless,
applies to the flying spaghetti
This is
monster.
the best debate I've ever been in. This
I
motherfucker
already
couldn't
told you
save his fucking life right now. He could not address any of the points on this
I
tablet.
literally did though. I
He
literally did. I don't have to address them
he
again.
doesn't have to. He doesn't have to, but he already did.
You need to prove why the Christian God specifically is real. The
done
burden of proof is
told
on you. You're the one making this definitive claim. The burden of proof is on you. I don't have to falsify your God for me to not come to the conclusion that your God must be real. Just because you can't falsify something doesn't mean you should assume the opposite. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, that is the most fallacious form of argumentation. Again, just because you can't prove that there's no purple elephant in my backyard doesn't mean you should assume that there's a purple elephant in my backyard. It's the same shit.
All right, so the existence of God, my argument is wrong because
What? Because
Because
you are
flying- the flying spaghetti
you are
monster did.
making, you are taking an affirmative position. You need to prove to me why your position is the correct one. All I have to do
that.
is
I don't have to
explain
do that.
why
No, you know what? I'm
that
gonna take.
your
I'm gonna take
form
the
of
position
argumentation
entitlement.
doesn't
I
necessarily
don't have to talk
lead
to you.
to that
I don't have to
conclusion.
listen to you. I don't have to answer your questions. I don't have
Except
to.
I
live
did.
in a
You just
free
don't like the
country.
answers I gave you. That's
live in a
literally
free
all there is to
country.
it. I answered your questions. You just don't like my
I have
answers.
my First and Fifth Amendment rights, sir. I don't have to do any of that stuff.
If you want to make a definitive claim, I mean, and win a debate, yeah, you do.
Oh, so there's a caveat to me not having to do anything now.
What? If you want to win the debate, you have to prove why your God is real. That's your position. My position is, I don't know. There could be a God, there could not be. I'm indifferent.
But your position in the debate on the existence of God
is that there is not sufficient evidence for me to definitively come to the conclusion that your Christian God exists.
Now, how
Or
did you
that
deal
there
with
even
it?
is, I haven't like there's nothing that has
how
led
is-
me to the
how is-
conclusion
We're gonna
that
try
there
this one
even
more
is a
time.
God
We're
to be
already at an hour.
stop. There is
We're gonna
nothing
try
that
it
has
with
led
it
me
one more
stop.
time. I'm gonna
There
hold
is
you
nothing that has
account
led
to
me
your
to the
fucking
conclusion that
statement,
there
sir.
even is a God, let alone specifically
I'm
the
gonna
Christian
hold you
God.
to a fucking count to your fucking statement. All right. How did you
What?
deal with the contingency argument?
Wait, I already explained to you. I already fucking explained that, let's say, because you are saying that everything has a cause, right? So how do you know that the cause of the universe existing is a God who is self-aware and specifically the Christian God, or even just a God that is self-aware, rather than just some other force that isn't self-aware or aware of its own existence or depicted in any religion? I've already explained that to you.
That's debunked. You debunked the contingent argument by
explaining that it doesn't specifically apply to your God. It can be applied to any God. or
Okay, so
anything that
how did
creates
it
the
apply
universe.
not to a God?
You don't know that the God, the Christian God of the Holy Bible is the one that created the
All right,
universe.
so,
You
so
don't
let's
know
let's do
that.
this. Let's do
You
this,
don't
right?
have any evidence.
Let's do this. All right. So he explained to you that any God could have created the world. He's just not sure which one to pick. And my position
Wait,
is the
no,
Christian
I'm
God,
saying
and
no.
that's
Stop,
the
stop,
stalemate
stop,
we're at.
stop. No, you are already misrepresenting my argument. I am
Okay, do it
saying,
again then.
what I am saying is that, sure, something created the universe, but we don't know what that something is. It could be a god for all we know, but we don't know that. For all we know, it could be something that isn't conscious or self-aware that created the universe.
All right. So what was your argument for the thing that's not conscious or self-aware that created the universe?
Wait, could you repeat the question?
What was your argument for something that's not conscious or self-aware that created the universe?
I'm saying that is a possibility. I'm saying that something that isn't self-aware or conscious could have created the universe.
Okay.
We don't
What
know
was
what
your
that something
argument?
is.
What was your argument for something that's not conscious, or what was
Wait,
the argument for
what are
the
you
possibility
talking
that
about? I'm
happened?
saying that it is a possibility. It's like, I'm not saying that is the definitive end-all be-all answer. I'm just saying that is one of many possibilities. Like,
Okay,
I
do
don't
you
think
guys
you
want to like
understand.
finish up and let maybe just do
Yeah,
brief
that's
closing statements?
my closing
Yeah.
statement
You
is
could take another
fucking
minute if you want,
self-explanatory.
and
So,
then if anybody has any questions from the audience, we'll do that.
Yeah.
yeah, let's answer questions.
My
I got a bad
closing
stream.
statement is eat shit and die and worship the flying spaghetti monster. That's my closing statement.
Do you want to say anything, Tyler?
I already did. My closing statement is self-explanatory.
Okay, I'm looking at questions here. Bob Smith asked, why is a spaghetti that is everywhere ridiculous, but a fleshless human is not? I'm guessing that's for Toxic.
Fleshless human?
Yeah, I guess he's talking about God.
God isn't a human.
Okay. I think he was saying because you were dismissing the idea of a flying spaghetti monster.
Yes.
That is like, has these omni properties.
That's
So
sheer
why?
utter stupidity.
Yeah. So he's asking, why is that incoherent? but the Christian God is coherent.
The Christian God is a necessary being. He does not have presence or anything like that. He's exactly what we have, a metaphysical concept of him. Just like actual infinity, we don't have concepts of all the other the counter examples he gave. He just jumbled a bunch of words together.
The projection is unreal.
Well, I want to say something. Just a comment. I think that Toxic actually won because you didn't really come in with an argument, and he came in with an argument. He gave like one or two arguments, and then your rebuttal, you didn't really rebut his argument because you were just the debate was supposed to be, does God exist? And the flying spaghetti monster is a god by definition, an eternal being that created the universe.
Well,
So,
I thought the debate was whether or not the Christian God exists, not any god. I mean,
yeah, that's
that's
understandable.
an
I mean, your
entirely different debate.
the spaghetti monster would have been a refutation to the Christian God. Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's maybe I did say that it might have been.
Yeah.
I was not arguing against deism. I was arguing against the Christian God specifically.
He's
And
on
how
the
it is an
script.
my
He's on a
position is
script.
that
You're on a
the
script.
Christian God is an unjustifiable claim.
You're on a script. That's what I said.
How am
I
I on a
told you why it
script?
wasn't.
I'm
I
fucking
told
winging
you.
it. What do you mean?
I told you why it wasn't the deist God, and you just blew over that and went on your, because that wasn't on the script.
Because you said a whole lot of nothing.
It wasn't on the script. I told you why that wasn't the deist. The deist God starts everything and runs away.
Okay.
The Bible God doesn't.
Okay, what about the flying spaghetti monster who also doesn't? There you
The
go.
flying spaghetti monsters is this stupid idea that you have that you can't explain to
As
save your
opposed
life.
to Christianity, which is also a stupid idea you have, which
No,
you can't
it's not.
explain.
You gotta
It
write
is.
if you can write a book the size of the Bible about your fucking
I will.
spaghetti
You know
God.
what? I will, just out of sheer spite now. It's gonna be about
I hope you
why
do.
it's gonna be about why the flying spaghetti monster is real, and
Yes, I would
and
enjoy a debate about
how
that.
I am how femboys are superior. And yeah, like,
That's cool, man. I would love
yeah.
to debate in the future about the spaghetti monster in your book.
I feel like, look,
And
honestly, I feel like if you are willing to give me non-circular arguments, it would be easier for me to engage in the way you're looking for me to. I think there was a certain way. I think you were looking for something, some sort of response, maybe from me.
well,
I don't know. It just felt like you were looking for a response, and I
would
didn't
like
give you
future
the
debate to
response
be
you
about
wanted.
spaghetti God, because I was under the impression we were going to debate the existence of God.
That, you know what, guys, sorry, it might have been my fault. I might have told, because you were like, Toxic was filling in for somebody who was a no-show, so it was like last
Yeah,
minute.
it was I thought it was a Christianity debate, not a is
It is a
God real
Christianity
debate.
but your
Well,
counter is
yeah.
spaghetti.
I don't have to
spaghetti
prove.
God.
I don't have to take a position on whether or not there is or isn't a God, even
Why do I
in
have
a
to take a
Christianity debate.
position?
All
Why
I
do I
have to do is
Holy
say that.
fucking shit!
All
Hold on,
I have
Femboy.
to do,
Okay, guys. Did
Richard
all I have
Demoz,
to
Madsen's
do
here.
is
did
say
you have a
that
Peace,
question?
Christian
peace and
God is
respect, Richard
unjustifiable.
Madsen.
Peace and respect to you all.
Femboy, give Richard Madsen peace and respect, because like you might sound ridiculous, but
Now,
you're not alone.
Now, Taylor. Now you know you can't demand that of someone who doesn't know me.
I'm
Yeah,
confused.
Femboy, don't feel bad. You got Richard Madsen here. He's here to help you.
I'm so confused.
I'm just a YouTuber, and a few of these guys know me. That's all.
Peace and respect, dude.
Do you have a
That's
question?
very kind. Thank you. Do I have a question? You know, I missed the first half hour, Godless, but, you know, I have such respect for your intellect. I just wanted to be on your show in your room, really.
Oh,
You know?
okay,
You didn't miss anything, dude.
That's
No, you
I
missed
kind of got that
everything.
feeling. I
You
kind of
missed
got
everything.
that feeling. Yeah.
Femboy's got an argument against your little fucking space god. He's
Right
got
on.
a flying spaghetti monster god.
That's okay. I noticed Femboy didn't ask you about why your God in the Old Testament has like mental issues of, you know, swing one way, swing. See, you're smiling because you know I'm right.
See, I feel
anyway, you guys have a great night. I just wanted to say hello.
No, come on, sir.
This isn't like an argument or anything. I just want to say, like, I'm like trying like different like approaches just to see like what sticks and what doesn't. So like, obviously these arguments didn't resonate with you. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could.
Well, Femboy,
I could make moral arguments. I could make moral arguments next time rather than.
Femboy, I could give you some ammunition for Taylor here, if you think this would be interesting. Ask him to explain why the God of the Old Testament that he worships has schizophrenia, because he does believe that.
Oh, damn. Wait,
okay.
Do you actually believe that?
Nah, Madsen, me and Madsen had a conversation about that a long time ago.
I'll have to watch that.
You gotta update your shit, Madsen. But no, you should link up with Fem Oz, and you guys should hang out. This is
I'd love to do a good debate with anybody. I'd love to. That'd be great.
You still do the Eden?
Yeah, I do meet in Eden, sure.
Yeah, Fem Oz, go to Richard Madsen.
Hook him up with my email, bro.
For many years. Yeah, well, you guys do that, but like Richard Madsen is a guy I've known for many years. We've had many conversations, some good, some hostile, some not so hostile.
That was you, not me, bud.
Yeah, we have different, like we've had ups and downs, Richard. Like it's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about Justin?
I believe in American law standards, and until a verdict is returned, I don't think that a verdict is returned.
He pled guilty.
Pleading guilty to gain a lesser sentence is not the same thing as admission of guilt, bro.
I agree.
It was a plea bargaining. I don't know if the guy is guilty or not. It's not for me to say. Okay, I don't know. I was not there.
That's fair.
Now, since you brought this up, and since people are smart enough to know what you're talking about, I'm going to say the following: anyone who hurts someone unable to give consent deserves to be put down like a rabid dog. Deserves it. Okay? But in the private chat, Fem. Is it Fem okay? I don't.
Yeah, Femios, whatever you want to call me.
Femios. You have my email. Please feel free to use it. We'll have a good
All
talk.
right.
I promise.
All right, bet.
Richard hosts.
Godless, thanks a lot. Peace and respect to you all. Have a great night.
Richard? Where are you going, Richard? We're hanging out.
Too.
Okay, I'll hang out, but well, how many can you hold in the room, Godless?
I don't know. I'm new to StreamYard. What's the amount, Tyler?
If you're paying for it, it's 10. If you're not, it's 6.
Oh well,
So if you're on the promotional, like you're giving it a try and it's just on promotional right now, 6 is your max.
Well, I'm gonna end the stream, I guess, soon anyway. So don't worry about it.
You added people to the stream. We're all hanging. Richard Madsen's
Okay,
here.
I'll hang out.
Bubblegum's
Okay,
here.
fine.
What's up, Bubblegum? What's up, people
Bubblegum?
I know from? I know Richard from way back in the day, but I know Bubblegum from Praise. And I got
Oh, yeah.
This is Fem Oz and this is Cutie Pie.
Yo, what's up?
Cutie Pie, what did you think of the debate?
It was just absolutely. I'm never doing this again unless we.
Don't be a fucking homosexual, Cutie Pie. This was a good debate.
Unless we can agree on like a concise and like unambiguous topic.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that like I don't even think like the fact that I thought this was like a debate on whether or not Christianity is like a justifiable conclusion to come to rather than does God exist. I think that kind of messed it up.
That was my fault because you were supposed to be debating like that Darth Dawkins minion and you canceled, so I was like quick trying to get somebody last minute.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Next time we're going to debate, this is how it's going to go. It's going to go Madsen and Fem Oz tag team.
Okay, you're
why
just talking
Spaghetti
now.
God and why Madsen spaceship cadet ancient astronaut God versus the Bible God.
Okay, so a little word of advice for anyone who wants to do debates. Choose a very, very small topic, very specific. Whoever has agreed to go first, let them make the positive assertion about that topic. And that way you know who's going first, what their position is, and everything. It's much easier that way. And maybe it could be done in an hour or two.
I'm trying to see what direction to go with my channel, so I put a poll in the text chat. Should I bring Femboy back on for another debate? And 73% said yes.
I'll debate
Let's
Femboy again.
go.
I don't have a problem.
Hell
with
yeah.
I'll get all cute next time. I'm just wearing like my shitty
His
clothes.
name is Fem Oz.
Ah.
Hold on. Take the little. His name is Fem Oz.
Femios, yeah.
Femios. So Femios.
Yeah.
I'll debate Femios again, and then we'll debate. Is heaven a spaceship? Me and Richard
Well,
Madsen.
I'll try to be like less aggressive. I feel like this time I was probably too aggressive. Maybe I don't know.
Well, it's fine. I'm a confrontational
Nah,
person.
okay.
in nature.
You weren't aggressive enough.
Oh really? I feel like I was
Yeah, you're
like
fine.
because like I kind of lost part of my voice and I'm like shit. Does that mean I was being too mean? Like I don't know. I'm kind
Yeah,
of mean
don't
in
take it
debates
personal.
sometimes. Okay, all right, good. As long as you don't take it personally, it's fine. I just don't want to like accidentally like come across as like an asshole when like it's just like I get really passionate and heated and it's but it's all in good fun, like.
It's fine.
I think that's good for
emotions and shit like
viewers.
that. You
but
gotta
the
do
way
it.
you were
Okay.
was good for viewers. People are entertained by that.
Yeah, and I feel like that's also an important thing to me is the entertainment element because at the end of the day, I might be a debate bro, but above all else, I'm an entertainer. Like my goal is to be funny. Like being funny is like the most important, and then it's like funny first, debate second. I don't know.
Yeah, me and Madsen are gonna debate whether heaven is a spaceship. You ready for Madsen? You ready for me?
Gosh, I don't know. All of a sudden, fear is just boiling up in my heart.
I'll bet you it is. I'll bet
Oh,
you
yes.
it is. Yeah, me and Madsen, exclusive only on the GG channel will you find me and Madsen debate whether heaven is a spaceship.
Bubblegum, I want to ask you a question because you said in the text chat you don't believe in any gods, but you believe, or no, I mean, you don't believe in any religion, but you believe in multiple gods. So does that mean you're like a polytheist? Because I've never met anyone with that position.
No, according to the Christians, if you ask them, is Satan a god? According to them, he is a god. But they have some sort of mental gymnastics that they'll say they're not worshiping God. They're not worshiping Satan. So he's technically not a god, but they believe he is a god. So according to So according to because I believe in gods, but I don't go out of my way to like worship. So I'm a polytheist, and I consider myself a polytheist. But according to
you're not.
according to Christians, since I don't worship my gods, I'm an atheist, according to their definition.
I do want to ask, just for clarity, Bubblegum Gun, because I haven't had a chance to hear you speak before. Are you a devotee of any particular god?
If I have an ultimate, yes. But am I like devoted? Is the thing I don't worship them, but I do
understand
acknowledge
that.
them. Yeah, I do acknowledge.
But you took the first definition of devotee properly. That there is a top in your opinion.
Yes, there is a top god.
Okay.
Who's
fine.
the top?
Oh, that's a secret.
Not that kind of top.
Oh, never mind.
But a lead god, if you will.
An ultimate.
I probably said that poorly. And
yeah.
Okay.
If there is a daddy dom god, please let me know. I might worship that one. I'm just saying.
Pretty sure there is one.
You haven't learned about
There's
Madsen's
bound
god.
to be.
Madsen's god is for fucking astronauts from outer space.
As long as that god has to be like kinky though. Like there has to be like a lot of BDSM and kind of all the weird shit.
I mean, Zeus like transformed himself into like a swan to get a girl pregnant. It's crazy.
Also,
See, I'm not a bestiality kind of guy.
Hey,
That
Femboy,
might be
you
a
on
little bit
Clubhouse?
much.
You on Clubhouse?
What?
Bubblegum, are you on Clubhouse?
Oh, me? No, not a club. I don't like that app. It's just.
What about you, Femboy? You on Clubhouse?
I've never heard of it, to be honest.
It's not user friendly. It's so convoluted.
You need to come hang out with us on Clubhouse.
Well, I'm trying to use the PC version because I don't like being on my phone, and it's like made by a third party, so you can't really. It's not user friendly.
Yeah, you have a Obama phone or some shit where you can't log into Clubhouse. But I understand.
Well, I think I'm like a phone boomer. I don't know how to use the phone. I'm mostly on my PC.
But you can get Club Deck.
Yeah, but it's like run by a third party, so it's not that Clubhouse made them directly.
You got some,
so it's like
Obama dial-up internet.
I just don't know how to use the app. I know how to use Discord. I'm on Discord occasionally.
Yeah,
Femboy also has a Discord server if you want to check it out. I'm gonna end the stream, guys.
His name is Fem Eyes.
Femiaz.
Thanks for letting me on your stream to interact with some people. GG, appreciate you. Have a great night.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I enjoyed this.
I'll see you.